Good evening, my name is Shachar Peled, and this is a series about evolution and faith, in which we see how evolution is the criterion of faith and the basis of faith. We are now in the fourth chapter and discussing the advent of the human, and the last clip we discussed how the other is the center of all human experience, how no language, no culture, no human endeavor is capable of existing without others. And we will continue to develop this main precept of what humanity is. To whom does this music that a composer and a singer and a performer make? To whom is this music made? For whom? For whom is this? Do we hear the sound of hammers working the great machines? For whom are the bridges built and the books written? For whom are the perfumes made? And for whom are the sprouts folded into the pan? For whom are the medicines made? And for whom are the shirts ironed? For the human, for the other. Without a plurality of human beings, there is no human. Culture strives to appear as a multi-human, as a multi-human essence, being, a multi-human being, or maybe we should say, multi-human. There are many humans together, and the multi-human being is the human, with the definite article. The human is the multi-human being. This is a being that appears as a culture and as a nation, as cooperation between many people who create together one harmonious system in which the uni-human, the individual, the private individual, the private person is integrated. The multi-human incorporates the uni-human. Why am I using these strange conceptions, these strange terminology? Because there is something here hidden that is easily cast aside and ignored and disregarded. And this thing is the fact that we as individuals are just potential. And the potential to become fully human is only actualized with other humans. So the being, the actual animal or being that is the human, is a multi-human, a multi-man, a multi-woman, a multi-person. So this multi-human, within it is the uni-human, the one human. But if we say just man or human, then it seems as if each individual has his own existence, like some kind of lone wolf, some kind of molecule existing, not even molecule, an atom that is not even in a molecule. But as humans, as the next leap in evolution, the sixth leap, we have become transformed from animalia, where each individual is a multicellular organism. And on top of this, we have multicellular organisms who are part of a multi-human being. And that multi-human being on which evolution exerts its forces is culture, is civilization, is people working together, living together, creating together, speaking to each other. And this is humanity. The human is this plurality of human mammals. And the individual, the uni-human, is part of the multi-human. Like the individual cell is part of the multicellular organism. So every culture comprises specific and unique systems that are unique to it. All kinds of technological systems, knowledge, language, poetry, customs, infrastructures, institutions, racial and national identity, cosmology, religion. Each culture appears as a kind of specific personality whose spirit unites all its parts. When do we feel a part of a culture, of a civilization? We feel a part when we become immersed in a culture. A Frenchman feels he is part of the French civilization. He becomes French. And all people become representatives of the whole, of the multi-human of which they are part. And this is a spiritual thing. This is not physical. This is not racial. And this is something that our generation has come to understand very well. Racial or ethnic background has nothing to do with it. Nor is it to do with gender or race or whatever. It's all to do with spirit, with the connection between people. So some cultures are more open and there's less barriers separating a person from another. Some are more rigid, like say a Brahmin culture where the Brahmins are standoffish. But within Brahmin society, there's also this identity. I am Brahmin. And within general Indian society, where the castes are accepted as part of their theological perspective on reality, then everybody knows, I am part of this. I am Hindu. I am part of this, even in whatever social station in life they are born to. And this is part of this identification. So always is the person in the culture, and the culture is like a special person. It's like, oh, he's Indian, he's French. He is part of that thing that is called India or France or Israel or the US. In God we trust. So it is like a personality that unites all its parts with its spirit. The person, the human, the multi-human, completely shapes his. How shall I call the multi? The multi-human is an it. It is an it, but it's not an object. There is nothing in the language to describe it. This society of men, women, children, of history, of all the men, women, and children who have contributed to the history of a culture, who are embedded in its civilization. All these together, we cannot call it an it, and it is not a he or a she. It is something beyond. Like you cannot call divine any type of gender. So even when we use the he, we do not mean he in a gendered sense, but nor even in a neutral sense, because it's a personality. In a sense that there is no language to describe. So I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to use a pronoun here. So I will use the noun itself every time, because I can't say the pronoun. Because this is it. The noun is the multi-human that comprises all persons within a culture or a civilization. So the multi-human shapes the multi-human's environment completely. The multi-human is detached from the natural constraints that operate on the animal kingdom. The culture completely uproots and supplants the instincts. In the name of culture, a uni-human, a single person, can even allow himself to die, give himself over to death, And even the hardwiring of genetics is given today to the cultural influence and to shaping through learning. So in fact, all of evolution has risen or has brought us up to the stage, to this sixth leap in which we uproot evolution, because it no longer works on the individual. The whole process was to take these multicellular creatures and work on them through Darwinian evolution, so that only the fittest, the smartest, the fleetest, the most gentle parenting, whatever, survive. But now it's come to the stage where the human appears, the multi-human, and in that stage, evolution stops working on individuals. It cannot. It stops. As an individual, none of us will evolve. But as cultures, as civilizations, we are learning all the time. We are growing. We are developing. We are changing our shapes. We are evolving constantly. More in the next video.